What did it for you there, and why did you end up going towards Trump?
It was a lie.
And this might
they
sound
lied
stupid.
about that.
I don't get why a lot of people lie to the people who support them.
Extreme socialism, obviously, we'll all agree, communism doesn't work.
Yeah.
But extreme capitalism, as we're seeing right now,
does not
with
work.
this corporate capitalism, also has its problems.
How much money is too much money for one person?
It's a tough call. I know. When they have these billions, you're like, well, they really don't need it. Yeah, we agree with that.
Why Trump instead of Bernie Sanders?
What I look at is more progressives like the Bernie Sanders faction and stuff like that. We actually see a lot of the same problems.
I would vote for a Bernie Sanders before I'd vote for like a Ted Cruz or a Marco Rubio.
What would it have taken for you guys to
Every time I watch this type of stuff, I always think of like the stigma like Trump supporters have. Like they kind of crazy, they dangerous, Stay away from them. But when I watch these type of videos, bro, I'll be like, they just seem like regular people. Like they literally just seem regular to me. Like, they actually seem kind of intelligent, if I'm being honest. Like, they really be having real political discussions, which is crazy. Like, I don't know what I was expecting, honestly. Like, it wasn't this, though.
to not go into the rally and to instead get ice cream with me, a flaming leftist?
Well, first of all, you
I'd
have
be
to
happy.
buy.
All right, I'm buying. We are polarized. There is no doubt about it. But I came to this Trump rally on a hunch. I've poured drinks at a Rust Belt dive bar for the last year, and when your county votes for Trump and the bartender looks like I do, people kind of assume that you're on the same page. But sometimes you actually are. So here's my hunch. For all the focus on culture war issues, the working class on the left and the right have a lot more in common than we're led to believe. And if that's true, it could and should have huge implications for the upcoming presidential election. So I went to Erie, Pennsylvania to find out. Are we rolling? Okay. We're here at the Trump rally today. Why did you come out today?
To support my 45th president.
Okay.
He didn't lose. He called out the Washington establishment, and I absolutely loved it. You know, he's definitely not a Republican because Mitch McConnell and them would be backing him, and DeSantis would be running against him. Obviously not a Democrat no more, so we're more of a politically homeless faction that loves America and will make all the changes that we can to make it great. Prices are just higher.
I love learning about like politics and stuff because it kind of, I'm not gonna say it's not a big part of my life if I'm being like 100% honest. I don't really have a political affiliation if I'm being 100% honest because I don't even know a lot about it. I just watch these type of videos to learn about it. But every time I watch these videos, it shows you like different aspects of people, like how you view your favorite politician, what do you think Trump is, how do you act. And every time I watch these type of videos for Trump specifically, everyone who supports him always has a real reason to support him. At least what I see. I don't know if that's a worldwide thing, but every time I watch these, they're like, oh yeah, I support him for this, this, and this. But, and this is no offense to, I guess, a liberal side. When I watch those type of videos, it's like they support a liberal side just because they hate the Republican side. And that's one thing I've noticed. I'm not saying it's everybody. I'm just going by the videos that I've personally seen. But it's like they are liberal because they hate the Republicans. And I don't know if that's I don't think that's personally right, but hey, to each his own. Like, land of the free, home of the brave.
Like, you go to the grocery store, I buy the same thing every time I go to the grocery store. I spend $102 at Aldi's. I was just telling my uncle this. I'm spending over $200 now. So things are more expensive. I think people are more scared.
Our money doesn't have no value, and that's why we're having problems. This whole inflation thing, it's been building and building for multi-decades, and it's getting close now.
You work at McDonald's, right?
I do.
Do you feel like you're getting everything out of work that you're putting into it?
I believe I should get paid more. All I am doing is I'm working my ass off to get my money. I'm a hard worker, and I feel like I deserve more.
I work down in West Virginia.
Yes.
On the rigs for Evil Big Red, Halliburton.
That sound hard.
God.
Halliburton, we were 2 weeks on, 1 week off, so you never got to go home. We were the lowest paid of all the workers out there. I only made $13.50 when I got hired on.
For Halliburton.
For Halliburton.
$13.50.
Probably wouldn't even have an Iraq war if it wouldn't have been for the Halliburton and Cheney and stuff. We were expendable. That's all it was. Halliburton, Big Red, they called it. You're just part of the machine, and the machine can be replaced.
As expendable as people who went over to fight a rich person's war in Iraq.
Yep, pretty much.
5 years ago, I came to the realization that I've been hoodwinked. I have zero respect for Dick Cheney. I have zero respect for George Bush.
What did it for you there, and why did you end up going towards Trump?
It was a lie.
And this
they lied about that.
I don't get why a lot of people lie to the people who support them. Like, me personally, I have a YouTube channel. Obviously, I have a YouTube channel. I don't lie to y'all. I tell y'all straight up every time. I don't lie. It might hurt my views. I'm not gonna lie. It might hurt my views. It might hurt my subscriptions. But one thing I don't do, I don't lie. If I say I don't know what they're talking about, I tell y'all, I don't know what they're talking about. I don't even know who Dick Cheney is. And if I tell y'all I don't support a certain side, I'm like, I don't support any side, I'm in the middle, I keep it a buck. I don't know much about it. So when it comes, I'm only bringing this up to say, politicians, you need to stop lying to your people so much. And I get it. Majority of people don't really look into these things. So it will be fine on the mass thing. But the ones who do look into it, you're losing supporters because you keep lying to them, man. Stop lying to these people. And for the other guy who was making $13.50 at the oil rig an hour, that is crazy, bro. That's not even, you can't live off of that. We need to, like, I do think we need to raise wages, bro, because that's insane.
The Iraq war, there was no reason for us to go into war in Iraq other than the military-industrial complex wanted a war.
The global corporations, do they have, the Goldilocks question: too much, just enough, or too little power? Where would you place it?
I feel like their only thought is more money,
right?
More power. That's all you care. Whoever has the most money.
Obviously, it's too much.
Yep.
When you have a company like BlackRock that's worth $9 trillion,
and Vanguard's what?
Vanguard's $8 trillion. Obviously, I'm not going to argue. There's a problem with that.
Do you think the finance sector?
Yeah.
Does it have too much power, just the right amount of power, not enough power?
Way too much power.
The financial sector.
100%. Yes.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie.
These people really, a lot of these people they don't realize are unelected officials. So all these politicians have this plan for how they're going to fix the economy, but then they just get in there, they don't do anything, and they're funded by the people, and those people are not elected, and they control the people that are elected.
What role do you think, the consolidation of these larger corporations? I came from an agricultural background, and now it'll be 3 or 4 companies that control the entire market for chicken, eggs, for beef.
That shouldn't happen.
Yeah. The working class has gotten beaten up because of the loss of small businesses. And my question would be, I would say, why aren't they here anymore?
As a small business owner, I feel like we aren't represented that much in America.
Do you see a problem with that kind of operation?
Oh, 100%.
When it's concentrated.
Because the big guys.
And it's crazy because I support capitalism to a certain extent. I think if you work hard, you should be allowed to make a lot of money, and if it's yours, you keep the money too. But it's getting crazy now. It's getting crazy. The reason I say it's getting crazy is because prices for everything is going up. For some reason, rent goes up every year, even though the people who own the buildings, they own the building. So let's be honest. Mortgage is fixed rate. They don't have to raise rent, but rent raises every single year. And that's fine if salaries also raised at least some. But it got so crazy now that the average American, the average person, cannot live to support themselves. College degree, nothing. They can't. Like, let's keep it real. They can't. And this is a problem because I think if you go to college, if you working hard, you should to a certain extent be able to support yourself, bro. And it's getting kind of crazy now. I'm not saying it's like 100% crazy, but I can see the trend, and it's getting kind of crazy. I don't know though. I'm not an economist or whatever.
are beating out the small guys or even the family-owned businesses, you know, easily.
A lot of that's driven by these really large corporations that are, you know, just by their size pushing the little guy out.
Yes.
How big of a problem do you think that is?
That's an ultimate problem. That reminds you of watching them westerns, movies when they would go to some small town and the one guy owns the bar, he owns the tack place, he owns that. Yes, there's so many houses for sale in our neighborhood. I was going to go to town and say, are these all, you know, can we find out, are these just real people buying them, or is this like proxies? See, BlackRock proxies, Vanguard proxies. Are they buying all these homes so people can't own them and they're just going to rent them?
Would you be excited if Trump did anything to rein in?
Well, of course. It's just...
it's a monopoly that needs to be broken up. Just like, remember the telephone company in the 80s, AT&T? That was broken up.
Yeah.
And that's what needs to be done.
Capitalism's not the problem. It's been corrupted to such a level, just like people think all the politicians are corrupted. But it's corrupted at the highest levels of these corporations, like you said, being owned. Instead of 200 of them, you're down to 4. Yeah. That's a massive control.
You think somebody like Trump with the billions in the business, I mean, we're talking about really large monopolies here. He's more in their peer group.
Yeah, I agree. You're right, right.
He has a financial interest to do that kind of policy.
I always even consider Trump even like a crony capitalist. He's not perfect, you know what I mean? He was a capitalist guy, you know, and you know, everybody always read where he would eminent domain against take the lady, kick her out of her house for all that stuff. Yeah, that's falls into that. Like I said, I don't know, you know. I come to a Trump rally. Doesn't mean I think he's the greatest guy.
Can you really trust a billionaire? Help me understand why that's a thing for you.
Yeah, so with billionaires, I would say honestly, no, you can't.
Yeah.
I'll say with Trump, when he debated Hillary Clinton in 2016, she said all these things about the tax laws, all this, and Trump said, where have you been for 30 years? You know, you haven't done anything about it. And then he said, I know you're not going to do it because all your donors who fund your campaign benefit from the same tax breaks and tax laws I do.
Right.
So,
and that's the crazy part when it comes to like politics and stuff. Like, I think when you have financial gain in an area, it's really, 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 really hard for you to change from that because you're gaining money. And as you know, in the free world, money is very valuable because you can buy things, you can pay for your, like humans, the way we're set up, we don't really see an end to it. We want all the money. We want every dollar we can possibly get. And when you think like that, it becomes dangerous because you're willing to sacrifice your morals for it. You're willing to sacrifice what you believe for it. And that's when it becomes bad. I'm not going to sit here and say certain politicians do it because I don't know. And I'll tell y'all, I don't know. But I can see people doing it. Like, I can see why somebody would do it. Like, you have all this power and they say they'll give you $5 million if you write this law. I can see someone doing that. I'm not saying they do it because I don't know. I'm not into politics like that. But I can see it happening.
So whether it's left or right, these people, they're not really going to change the tax laws from the donors that are funding their campaign.
The power is so strong that these people have built up that, yeah, and I don't have answers, and because I know that's what you want. You know, you want to hear what can we do. I just don't think politics is going to do it. Just getting in like Civil War thing is just who wants to do that kind of stuff? You know what I mean?
I'm kind of in the same place. I don't have the answers. Will politics do it? If politics doesn't do it, what else will? I look out at a couple 100,000 workers at UPS recently.
Yes. Did they vote on it yet?
So they haven't voted on it yet.
I heard about that.
It was negotiated, and there was, the threat of the strike. They were really organized. They won $30 billion over the term of that contract.
That's tough.
Being organized. So I look at something like that and say, if this is about control and about working class people having a seat at the table at a company as big as UPS, we just saw their unity win $30 billion worth of, cash in the pocket. Does that sit well with folks?
Nonviolent direct action does work. We've been hearing all about the boycotts. You just mentioned 100,000 people. That's a lot of people. You don't want to mess with that.
This contract was $30 billion.
And that's the thing, man. like when there's always the stigma around Trump supporters that they aren't educated or are crazy or whatever the case. But every time I watch these videos, they say the exact opposite. Like these are some of the most educated people I've seen in politics. Like they actually have a real reason why they support him. They actually have things they don't like about him. They have personal beliefs that they like, they don't like, and it's just good to see, man. But yeah, if you have any more suggestions, make sure y'all go check this channel out. It's called More Perfect Union. It's LFR Jojo, and I'll see you.